Hi, this is my review of Spells and Favours for MYFAROG by Varg Vikernes. Spells and Favours is the MYFAROG spellbook, or rather Galdarbok. It contains all of the spells of the core rulebook, and this is a handy reference and tool to run smooth MYFAROG sessions. Now let's talk about the quality of the book. It's a softcover book, it's sturdy, the quality of the paper is good as well. However, I would handle it with care so that it doesn't get like creases or wrinkles, and I would keep the paper away from moisture, of course. Everything is well organized and written, and you have a few illustrations here and there, following the MYFAROG minimalistic style. You also have tracks left by a kraken. Cthulhu Futan. So the quality is good. Now let's talk about the contents. All of the spells are, as I was telling you, well organized, and you have the pertinent details for each one of them. So you have the spell name, the power level, the description, time, range, duration, deities related to that spell, because spells and favors has to do with any magical effect in the game. Spells are those that are cast by sorcerers, but for more pious characters that follow a specific deity, then it's a favor because it's the deity casting the spell in the stead of the caster, or rather the one communicating with such a deity. Something that I really like of the MYFAROG spells is that they have the thematic flavor of MYFAROG. Even though there are some what would you consider classic fantasy spells, they all have those names and mechanics that are particular of MYFAROG. So for example, we have the Long of Nerthur, the Create Holda, Cure Malaria, Create Nar. You want to create your zombie servants? Create Nar. Etin Ice, Magenerthi. You even have some powerful elemental spells, and as I was telling you, even though they are classics or staples of many fantasy role-playing games, they still have that MYFAROG flavor. So you have Manipulate Weather, Manipulate Wind. Some other classics like Paralyze and Poison, Remove Curse, other types of healing spells, some other classical spells such as Telekinesis, Teleportation, some with a very strong European flavor such as Trojan Horse, and so on. Well, let me tell you what I think of Spells and Favors. The only thing that could have been a small improvement would have been a table of contents, but it's a very thin book, so you will have no trouble at all finding the right spell. I think this is a great tool to run a smooth role-playing game session. However, I wouldn't consider it a must-have for every group. But for example, if you're a myth master that likes to keep spells separate so that you can have the core rulebook open at a specific section and you have no trouble finding a particular spell, this is a very handy book. And I think that this will be most useful for those players that do not own the core rulebook and they go to the Mythmaster's house, but they know the rules, but they don't have the rulebook. And so they can have this handy guide, because if they create a magically inclined character, that way he won't have to be writing or copying the spells that he is able to cast. So this is a useful tool. A player aid to run a smooth MYFAROG game. Well, thanks for watching my review. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know. See you later.